Second, at the Afghan state level, currently, I think it goes without saying that Pakistan is facing an insurmountable challenges and problems with regard to the current rulers of Afghanistan. Everything from a lack of domestic legitimacy for the current Afghan state to a lack of international recognition there, to issues of the TTP and BLA, to issues of a lack of reliable partners and them all of that. There's grave challenges. But at the same time, there's at least one opportunity that really did not exist over the past 50 years, and that is that the current rulers, despite all of the problems they have, they are in full territorial control of the country. Now, that territorial control doesn't have legitimacy, and that does not have diplomatic recognition. Those, however, the fact that they are in control across the country brings them into a situation where Pakistan can really do that paradigm shift and start digging into the ground, the roots of the problems between the two countries. And unless I think any regime in Kabul, unless they have full territorial control, they are really unable to start talking about the root causes of the problems between Afghanistan and Pakistan. So both challenges and an opportunity there. And then third, at the Afghan opposition level, again, there are grave challenges, but then there are opportunities as well for Pakistan to really utilize. The challenge is, of course, the main challenge is that Afghan opposition groups and figures and individuals are not united. They're in fact very much disunited. At least when it comes to the opposition, three prevailing views with regard to the future of Afghanistan persist within the Afghan oppositions. The first view is what is normally called change in the regime. What does that mean? That means that there is a plethora of Afghan groups and individuals who believe that if the Taliban government could bring in changes to certain policies, not the structure, just the policies, i.e., open up girls' schools, open up universities for women, let women to go to work, etc. A few key policies would change, then it's okay. Then they are acceptable, then they can go on. This is one view, and there's quite substantial amount of number of people inside and outside Afghanistan who actually follow this line of thinking. The second view is what I call change within the regime. And that is a view that a lot of, I believe, in my view, the majority of the Afghan opposition are of that view. And what that mean? That means that only change in policies is not acceptable, and it's not also even possible for the current state, unless there are structural changes, to bring in policy changes in the within Afghanistan. So policy change is neither possible nor sufficient. There has to be structural changes. So the regime would have to change. As Ambassador Haidari mentioned, there would be a more inclusive regime there in which the Taliban will also be part of it, not the whole of it. As I always say, the Taliban are part of the Afghan reality. They're not the entire reality. They're just part of it. The Taliban would be part of it, but also all other Afghans would be part of it. A regime that would be based on the regime that would have domestic legitimacy and that would lead to international recognition. A regime that would be Afghan, that would be Islamic, but also it would not be opposed to the realities of the 21st century. It would not be a regime that would harbor terrorist groups. It wouldn't be a regime that would promote Islamic fundamentalism. This is the second view among a lot of Afghans, and in my belief, in the survey I have done in my little research, this is the most prevailing one. So change within the regime. And then finally, third, you have regime change. There are certain opposition Afghan groups who actually reject the Taliban. They say, we, under no circumstances, we're going to sit with these people. Coexistence with the Taliban and their way of thinking is an impossibility. So the Taliban will have to completely go and a new regime will have to be replaced. There are these three prevailing views, political views about the future of Afghanistan among the Afghan opposition. Now, the challenge for Pakistan, who is trying to, who at least hopefully will try to facilitate meaningful change in Afghanistan so that the relations between the two countries would come to normalcy. It is a challenge because the oppositions are not united, but at the same time, it is an opportunity for a country like Pakistan. As again, I'm echoing Ambassador Haidari here. It is not just Pakistan, but Pakistan could play a role that would encourage regional and then global consistent consensus building on Afghanistan that would then bring in these views together and eventually would hopefully produce a more united Afghan political opposition that could then be brought into talks with the Taliban that would materialize into a more inclusive government. So to wrap up, Pakistan is a central actor there. Pakistan is only emerging even more of a central and a powerful actor in the region in light of the emerging world order and in light of the changes, strategic changes in the region. And as such, Pakistan could play a central role in how Afghanistan would transition from its current state into a more durable state. But then again, both challenges and sets of opportunities at those three levels that Pakistan would need to face. Thank you. I'll stop here.